This is interesting because on earth you cannot find one person who don't like to be happy and who like to suffer. You cannot find one. Everybody like to be happy. Everybody don't want to suffer. So the teaching of Buddha is based on that. The teaching of Christ is based on that. And why? I think is because both of them are humans.
Right.
But a good thing is if you are following pure Christian lineage, then you are following the path already.
In the New Testament, in John's Gospel, Jesus taught that I am the way, the truth and the life, and that by following him you can enter the kingdom of God. Buddha taught that if you follow his path and lead a moral life, are mindful of your thoughts and actions, and develop wisdom and compassion, you could reach enlightenment too. In their teachings, both Jesus and Buddha provide a very practical guide to personal transformation that is remarkably similar.
Do to others as you would have them do to you.
Consider others as yourself.
Professor Duncan Durrett has been studying Buddhism for the past 50 years.
Any Buddhist hearing the Sermon on the Mount would immediately say to himself, here is the teaching of a Buddha, for sure.
If someone strikes you on the right cheek, offer him the other also.
If anyone should give you a blow with his hand, with a stick or with a knife, you should abandon any desires and utter no evil words.
The Buddha and Jesus were attempting to achieve the same object, that an individual could be shown how to be righteous. Righteousness is a technical term amongst the Jews and amongst Christians. A righteous person will always look out for his duty to his neighbour, and the Buddha, on the other hand, is looking for what was called dharma, and that can also be translated righteousness. He wanted the individual to have a model, somebody who has got rid of anything which stands in the way of his being a perfect man.
Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who abuse you. From anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt.
Hatreds do not ever cease in this world by hating, but by love. This is an eternal truth. Overcome anger by love. Overcome evil by good. Overcome the miser by giving. Overcome the liar by truth.
The Buddhists think that there is a continuum of life, and by perfecting oneself, one reaches a stage where one is not reborn and suffers no more. Jesus talks about the kingdom of heaven, which exists on the earth amongst those who are real subjects of the real king, that is God himself. These teachings are very similar, and the Buddhist would understand the Christian, and vice versa.
There's so much similarity even in that aspect in Buddhism and Christianity, because I spent times in monasteries and they use incense and they use rosary, and also they use the folding the hand during the prayer. And also we have a double dorje, the cross of the Vajra, and you have a cross. So these are a lot of similarities are there. When you are following a path with one motivation to make everything better, make everyone free from suffering, then regardless of how long it will take, we are all going into the same direction. Do you understand?
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So, as a Christian, when I look at the teachings of Buddha and see the similarities, in some ways, I'm not just following Jesus, I'm also following Buddha.
I can respect that. I can respect that, but I cannot speak for you. You have spoken.
In Tibetan Buddhism, there is a type of holy figure known as a bodhisattva, someone who has put on full enlightenment so they can help others along the right path here on earth. Many Buddhists think Jesus was a bodhisattva. Before I left northern India, I wanted to meet one of Tibetan Buddhism's holiest leaders, the Gyama Karmapa, or the one who carries out the teachings of Buddha, the 17th reincarnation in a line stretching back over 800 years. I was granted a private audience. How would you explain Jesus as a Buddhist? Where would you place him?
Jesus was undoubtedly a great holy being for the world. And from a Buddhist perspective, we can definitely recognize him as a holy being. When someone abandons his own self-interest for the benefit of others, we can call him a bodhisattva. Although Jesus wasn't a Buddhist, we can still call him a bodhisattva.
One of the things that amazes me about the story of Jesus and the story of Buddha is the similarities in their teachings.
Their thoughts or teachings are similar because their motivation is to guide others towards the right path. If we look back into history, the stories of these holy beings are always similar. During Buddha Sakyamuni's time, the caste system was extremely prevalent. He worked very hard to undo the caste system and bring equality to all. For example, there were as many nuns as there were monks. Jesus also brought about many similar changes, such as equality and justice. They both understood their society's problems and so challenged those dogmas.
So what could be the cause of these similarities? At the time that the Bible was being written, we know that trade routes existed between India and Palestine via the Silk Road in the north and the sea in the south. And there are even Western historical accounts of travellers, diplomats and monks journeying from India to the Middle East. According to Indian sources, the Emperor Ashoka, who ruled most of India 250 years before Jesus was born, sent Buddhist missionaries all over Asia, and some may even have made it to Greece and Egypt. So there is a possibility that Buddhists and early Christians could have met and exchanged ideas.
In the course of this missionary endeavour, Buddhists will have found their way to all the major centres of learning. And so lives of Buddha will have found their way to Alexandria, we can be sure of it. They were engaging in a common search for truth, not only to find the truth, but how individuals might achieve it, whatever their backgrounds. So you may say there was a two-way exchange.
Yes, it is very possible. We have stories where sailors and soldiers who went on campaigns took Buddhist teachings with them. Some believe, and I have been informed, how during Jesus' lost years,